It's a great day to paint a blue jay. In part one of this video, we painted a background, wet and wet, and I like the way it turned out. So now we're going to work on our bird. The paper is dry at this point. It's a little cool to the touch, but it'll hold an edge, and that's all we care about. So, with my photograph as a reference, I'm going to find the parts of this blue jay. And we could start just about anywhere. I could start shadowing this area or shadowing the blue, but I need to just find him. So I'm going to start with some blue. And I've got some exquisite colors here that will be perfect for this blue jay. And I'm going to experiment a little bit. I've turned my palette around so that I can see my blues and gather them more readily. This is a color called phthalo teal, and I'm going to put it in the feathers down here just so it will show up a little bit. It's a little on the green side, so I'm going to try a color called cobalt turquoise. It's really rather similar, and I'll put some in here. It's pretty similar, so I'm going to just leave that alone for right now, and I'm going to look for a color that's just a little bit bluer. I'll go to my ultramarine. I'm going to add quite a bit of water to it because he's fairly pale. These colors are so vibrant and bright that I don't want to overwhelm my blue jay. So I dipped into some clear water right there so I could pull it out just a little bit lighter. And I'm going to feather in an edge to him. I'm going to pull that blue right up to where I see it on the front of the bird. And then I'm going to tip my brush in a little bit darker so that it is darker on the edge and pull those feathers out with my round pointed number 6 brush. Everybody always wants to know brands and things. This is a Zen brush. They are just a wonderful brush made by Royal Langnickel and inexpensive. I think this one is $2.99 at the showcase, which is where I buy all my art supplies. If you want to buy your art supplies there, just go online and send me a note if you don't find what you need. I don't have everything listed on the website. I'm going to mix ultramarine blue and burnt sienna very strong. And when you mix them strong and thick, you will get black. And I'm going to find the black, same colors that made the whole rest of this painting, only just a little darker. And I'm going to paint that blue jay's stripes in because that's what really starts to show him off. And his eye. You can save the eye for the end or you can start it right now. I like to have my animals looking at me when I start out. So if I get the very essence of that bird looking at me, I've connected with him. So I like to start that way. And I put this in wet so it kind of blurs. Blue jays have all kinds of different patterns. They are as unique as people. So if your colors are a little different here and there, that's just that pattern of that blue jay. They're similar and you think they're all the same, but start watching them. They're a little different. So I'm dotting in this line here instead of making it a straight, boring line. I'm giving it some character by dancing it in. That brush is dancing. And I went over here, eased up the color so that it's not quite as dark. And I'll put in just a little bit lighter. I could wash it out and make it even lighter yet. It's coming out a little brown, so I'll go over here and I want it a little grayer, not quite so brown. Looks like he spilled some, dribbled down his front. We don't want that. Keep our blue jay clean. And he's got a pile of snow on his beak. And I think that's attractive, so I'm going to keep his bill dark, which it is. And leave a little white there so that it looks like it's snow. We don't paint white paint in watercolor. We paint around it so that it's the white of the paper that's showing. Now I'm gonna give him a little bit of shadow. That's quite a lot of shadow, so I keep rinsing my brush and pulling it out softer. And I'm gonna put the dark in here, and I'm going to leave that pure white, and I'm going to pull it out lighter and lighter as I go back in the bird. And now I'm going to streak it in so that it doesn't create a line, but it looks like feathers. That's what we want. That's as much as we're going to do. I'm going to go back to my blue. Let's put some more blue in here. I'm going to add some water to it so it's not quite as intense. And then in here, we'll just feather it in, if you will. Arr, arr, arr. And these feathers get blue or black stripes on them. But I'm going to paint over them, and I'm going to save that white line. And I'm going to let it be a little loose like that. You can paint as realistic or as stylized as you want. I'm going to go in here and paint some of these blue feathers. When the light hits them just right, they just shine. Beautiful blue. And let's go down his tail. We can paint dark over top. So the black stripes will come in after the blue has dried. I'm going to go back and get some of that teal and stripe in some of that teal in here just for something a little more electric. Now, back to blue. Just down around the very edge. Okay, and that's gray, and that's tail, and that's actually background. We need to put a piece of background in there. And we'll come up here. He's looking pretty good. Okay, let's go back to gray, and we'll make his undercarriage where he's got some feet. Now the drawing here, we have to make sure we're understanding where we've got that area. So this area is above one of the feet. And this foot over here. And then as long as we're here, I might try to find the bird again by placing the background in there. So that is background, and that's a bird. That's a pile of snow. And this comes down and is branch. So make sure you understand your drawing, because it's easy to get lost in these. All right. So there's a little bit of bluish, grayish shadow under here. I'm going to just sweep that in with some little short marks. You can make as much detail and pattern as makes your heart happy when you're painting your bird. I'm starting to be pretty happy with this guy. It's all very wet, so I can't hold any detailed lines at this point. I'll have to let this completely dry. I'll come back in with the black details, and in part 3 we will do the snow, the branches, and the black details of the bird. Join me again, and it'll be a great day to paint snow.